Today we're going to work on solving quadratic equations using graphs. So in order to do this, in order to solve an equation, a quadratic equation using a graph, the quadratic equation needs to be written in standard form. That's the ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So it has to equal 0. So first I'm just going to have you practice number 1 and number 2. It says determine if they're in the standard form. Well, obviously they're not. So what I want you to do is pause your video and put number 1 and number 2 both in standard form. In other words, get them both equal to 0, and then start the video back up to check the answers. Okay, in the first one I just moved my 12x, and to move it I zeroed it out, or did the inverse operation of minus 12x. And I did go ahead and put it in the middle where it belongs in standard form. Now on number 2, you might have chosen to zero out the 3x squared and put a negative 3x squared on the left-hand side. And if you chose to do that, that's fine. I like to have my 3x squared positive, so I went ahead and moved everybody over to the right-hand side. If you have a moment, just put them both into your calculator. You'll see that one gives a minimum graph, one gives a maximum graph, but they both have the exact same zeros, or they both have the exact same solutions. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to remind you about the different kinds of solutions that you can have for a quadratic. So in a quadratic equation, we call them 4 different things. We call solutions x-intercepts, zeros, roots, or solutions. So we use all of these words just as a reminder. And what we're looking at is the value of x when y equals 0. So that's one of the reasons we call it a 0. So you can either have 2 solutions, you can have 1 solution, or you can have no solution. Those are your options for how many solutions you can have. So then we're going to go ahead and just practice. We're going to practice solving the quadratic equations by graphing. So what you're going to do is you're going to follow these 3 steps. Let me make it smaller so we can see it. You're going to make sure that the equation is in standard form. If it's not, you're going to solve it and get it into standard form equal to 0. You'll probably have to make a table or put it in your calculator to graph the function, and then you will find, if there are any, the x-intercepts, which are your solutions. So what I want you to do is to pause the video and do this for number 3, number 4, and number 5. Follow the 3 steps, get them graphed, and identify the solutions for each one. Once you've done it, start the video back up to check your answers. So these 3 situations actually model the 3 types of solutions or numbers of solutions you can have. And on number 1 we had 2, or number 3 we had 2 solutions. On number 4 there was only 1 solution, and on number 5 it never crossed the x-axis, so there were no solutions.